Welcome to ISB. My name is Nino Hanashvili. Today we will talk with Guy de Vongeland, who successfully conducted our first module in our program, which is Professional Development for Strategic Managers. Hello, Guy. Can you tell us briefly about the module? What is the theme about?
Thank you, Nino. The module is called Professional Development for Strategic Managers. The whole concept of strategic management itself is gaining massive momentum now among corporations, among governments, about NGOs. The whole theme of management education is now in a very evolutionary process where we have become to accept the fact that the old routine way of learning things will not really suffice in fact addressing some of the detailed complexities of life among companies, the global realities of uncertainties, etc. And in this module, what we try to do is to develop a very defined capacity for all managers to understand not only their personality, but their own professional capacities in dealing with very key strategic issues. We have seen during the last few years, especially during the last 4 to 5 years, how the global financial turmoil has affected so many companies, so many nations. Right. We have also seen the erosion of capital, erosion of wealth, and in fact the increase of poverty that has come as a result of what has happened. In emerging countries like Georgia, it is extremely vital that the young managers who are aspiring for leadership in their own companies clearly understand what it takes to be well-tuned, well-adapted to those changing circumstances, to be able to preempt any difficult situations that might arise, to be able to see far ahead of things, and also to be able to have very clear capacities for managing crises and uncertainties. Okay. We feel that while an MBA program, for example, may consist of a number of interesting subjects like finance, human resources, strategy, planning, etc., it is vital for managers to clearly understand that their personal capacities and their professional capacities are very important platform for building the managers for the future.
Can you tell us what are the key components of the module?
The fundamental proposition here is that to be able to have great capacities and to be able to attain that supreme level of leadership, the manager must necessarily have a very specialized body of knowledge in that particular area of activity where he is engaged. And at the same time, he should have a set of skills that are required to implement his strategy. Of course, there are so many other relevant components, such as team building, understanding others' capacity to contribute to a team, grooming your own junior managers, managing your internal and external environment. But I would say the manager today is not necessarily a technocrat. The best manager is always a leader with a great deal of charisma, with a great deal of capacity, with a great capacity for motivating others to follow him, to be able to set the specific goals and objectives for a company, or even for a nation for that matter. So what we do in this module is we go through all the specific skill sets that are required step by step, try and understand them conceptually, what they are. For example, the whole aspect of communication is so vital. And what are the key components of the communications process? How do you, for example, understand what the other one is saying? How are you going to transfer that information to the others? The whole information absorption and filtering processes. So in each area, we delve far more deeply into understanding what needs to be learned. We have, of course, a theoretical perspective based on a number of research that has been done for a long time. We bring into the classroom the whole body of research and knowledge and theories and models. But at the same time, we try to teach them in a way that it is applicable. It can be used. It can be clearly understood by those who work in a company or even a government.
I know you have lived in more than 20 countries and managed a lot of projects, and with your very huge experience, what do you think, what you have brought to this audience of middle and executive managers in our class?
I guess what I have brought to my audience in the class, who are all extremely excited, intelligent set of middle level and senior managers, is an understanding of the world as it is. We sometimes live in our own silos with our own ideas of what the world is all about. And we set up so many barriers that prevent us from really understanding what the world around us is all about. We have different countries, different economies, different cultures, different attitudes, different ways of doing things, different ways of understanding management. There are a whole series of different management styles from China to India to the United States to Europe, etc. And my years of travels and working with major international institutions, as well as with companies, banks, for example, is that although we can master the basic body of knowledge related to management, although we can master a broad set of skills that are required to manage very efficiently, we can never be satisfied and we can never tell ourselves that we are all perfect managers.
Right, yeah.
Because the dynamics of what is happening around us, the changes that happen around us, the whole metamorphosis is so diverse and so difficult to comprehend. I think we ought to have this humility all the time in our lives, to be able to say, well, I don't know this, let me learn it. I don't understand it clearly, let me do some research, let me talk, let me ask for advice. There are some countries that have fast-tracked their growth so massively, it is really brilliant, like Singapore. Even if you take China, 25 years ago, China was still learning to get onto the value chain or the supply chain. But today, it's a leading economy. It hasn't taken most of these countries too long a time. And that's another thing for us to try and understand, that you can fast-track progress, you can fast-track knowledge, and you can have the capacity to learn faster.
Thank you. We've been talking with Guy de Vongeland, our guest lecturer for professional development for strategic managers. This is ISB.